Buckle up, buttercups, because this ain't your grandma's stock market report. This is the story of Jordan Belfort, a man who redefined greed is good and turned Wall Street into his personal playground. He arrived in the concrete jungle with a hunger in his gut and a killer haircut, ready to take on the world. He started at a legitimate brokerage firm, learning the ropes, but found the honesty, well, dreadfully boring. The commission checks were the size of a postage stamp, and his soul was slowly withering away, a casualty of a cubicle and honest work. He had a job where the biggest thrill was the free coffee, and the biggest crime was forgetting to file a TPS report. His life was in a black and white film until he met Donnie, a man whose enthusiasm was a force of nature. Donnie was a firecracker, a man so excitable he looked like he might spontaneously combust at any moment. And that's how Stratton Oakmont was born, a place where ethics went to die and commission checks went to the moon. It was a beautiful disaster, a glorious den of organized chaos. Imagine a frat house, but instead of beer pong, they were playing with people's life savings. They sold penny stocks, the kind of stocks your grandma wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, but they sold them with gusto. They'd buy millions of shares of worthless stock, then convince an army of eager victims, retirees, grandmothers, anyone with a pulse, to buy it from them at a ludicrously inflated price. It was a beautiful con. "I need you to be relentless," he would scream at them, pacing the floor, a manic gleam in his eyes. "Are you behind on your credit card bills? Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing. Is your landlord ready to evict you? Excellent. Pick up the phone and start dialing. Does your girlfriend think you're a fucking worthless loser? Fantastic. Pick up the phone and start dialing." The money rolled in, mountains of it, and Jordan, well, he adapted to his new lifestyle like a fish taking to a swimming pool filled with champagne. Imagine the most outrageous party you've ever been to, then multiply that by 1,000. That was Jordan's Tuesday. He had a Quaalude problem that resulted in some truly magnificent physical comedy, like the time he had to crawl to his car, looking like a possessed slug trying to escape a bad dream. He crashed helicopters in his backyard just for the fun of it. He almost sank his massive yacht in a storm, proving that you can't buy yourself out of bad weather, but you can definitely buy a much bigger boat to sink next time. He was a walking, talking, high-flying disaster, but he was our disaster. He had a yacht so massive it had its own zip code. He threw parties that were less party and more controlled demolition of sanity. There was the time he threw a dwarf at a Velcro target for fun. He filled his house with exotic animals that looked perpetually confused. His drug-fueled antics were less about getting high and more about a competitive sport to see who could be the most unhinged. And then there was Naomi, a force of nature as wild as he was. Their relationship was a roller coaster of money, betrayal, and enough drama to fill a daytime soap opera. Their love story was a masterclass in controlled pandemonium. But of course, all good things must come to an end, especially when they involve massive amounts of fraud. The FBI came knocking, and they weren't selling penny stocks. Jordan tried to outsmart them. He hid money in Swiss bank accounts. He bribed people. He even wore a wire so badly that he basically taped a loudspeaker to his chest and denounced his crimes. He became so paranoid, he started seeing FBI agents in his cereal. His phone calls were a comedy of errors, filled with code words that made absolutely no sense and just incriminated him further. The Wolf of Wall Street was finally caged. He went to prison. He emerged from prison a different man. Well, a slightly less insane man. He wrote a book, then stood on stage and told the very story of how he fleeced people, turning his criminal past into a business empire of a different kind. The irony is thicker than his old bank account. So, what's the moral of the story? Maybe it's that greed is a powerful motivator. Maybe it's that money can't buy happiness. Or maybe it's that crashing a helicopter in your backyard is a really, really bad idea. Whatever it is, it's a hell of a story. If you enjoyed this wild ride, smash that like button harder than Jordan smashed his Lamborghini. Subscribe for more tales of outrageous fortunes and spectacular downfalls. And tell us in the comments, what's the most outrageous thing you've ever done for money? We promise not to judge much.